What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Clone Wars Chronological Rewatch. Today we're talking about the Lawless, the end of the Darth Maul Shadow Collective arc on Mandalore. One of my favorite episodes of the entire series. So let's just get into it. How did you like it?
This was a great episode. A lot of cool stuff.
What did you like most about it?
I like how it brought a whole new light to Obi-Wan's character. We get to see him kind of flounder a little bit. You know, he kind of like drops everything to go and help Satine. And who knows, like if he hadn't have done that, she could have still been alive.
It's interesting because I was going to talk about Maul. I mean, you're already getting into the theme of this episode, which is morality separates heroes from villains. And I was going to talk about how Maul will stop at nothing to get revenge on Obi-Wan. He doesn't care who he has to hurt, what he has to do. Like, he's going to get revenge at any cost. And it's interesting that, yeah, like, Obi-Wan also dropped everything to go on an unsanctioned mission.
Granted, the Jedi were like, oh, you know, we shouldn't get involved because this is a Mandalorian matter, and that's kind of silly of them to say.
Oh yeah, I was like, shut up, Ki-Adi-Mundi, when I saw this again. Like, just go do the right thing.
Yeah.
They're letting all the politics of the war intervene when they should just be like helping people. That's their job. But Obi-Wan goes on this unsanctioned mission, which, you know, is against the will of the Jedi. But we do see that he has lines that he won't cross. And that, I think, kind of the big scene of the episode that's about this point is when Satine dies. Before that happens, Maul is kind of trying to goad Obi-Wan into continuing down that road and being just as bad as Maul is and stopping at nothing to save Satine. And Obi-Wan says, "You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side. Only the weak embrace it, and those who oppose it are more powerful than you'll ever be." And I love all that because, yeah, all of those emotions, anger and hatred, what Maul is trying to get Obi-Wan to feed into or feed off of, it's like, yeah, that's the easy thing. It's easy to be angry.
Well, I mean, this is also just a cool episode because we get to see Bo-Katan quickly, you know, realize what's going on, and she kind of like shifts gear drastically. And do we find out that that's Satine's sister? Do they say it, or do they just allude to it?
Right at the end, Obi-Wan.
That's right.
Obi-Wan realizes.
Yeah. And so, yeah, going forward, it's curious to see, you know, what Bo-Katan's place in all of this is going to be.
And that feeds into the theme as well, that Bo-Katan has lines that she won't cross. And this is her starting point of turning from villain into hero.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we shouldn't forget about the village that she burned and the people that she has hurt. But this is the start of her redemption story that continues into the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels and the Mandalorian, hopefully.
And also, we get to see how quickly people changed their outfits.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian armor changes, and some of them have little horns.
Yeah, really quickly, they're like, we gotta show our allegiance to this Maul fellow. Like, I painted my armor red. Well, I glued horns to my helmet. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Maul taking so much from Obi-Wan, because I was thinking about how, you know, he killed his master. He kills Satine. And all of this is like trying to drive him into hatred and anger and all that. He never gives into it. Like, he holds Qui-Gon and Satine while they die in his arms. And then he does the same thing for Maul in Star Wars Rebels. And I think that's a really powerful thing, that he never gives into anger when it comes to Maul. Even years after, when no one was around to see it. He just, like, mercifully killed Maul because he basically demanded it. And then kindly held him while he died and tried to offer him some comfort. I like that. Obi-Wan's the best.
Yeah. And, you know, despite the fact that Maul was dying, he wasn't even mad at the time that Obi-Wan was doing that. He could have been like, dang it, Obi-Wan, could you just be, like, mean for 1 second and give me that while I'm dying
Yeah,
in your
right.
arms? Give me a little smidgen of what I would have loved to have seen. A little hatred from you this whole time.
And Obi-Wan, like, tries. He's like, puts on an angry face. He's like, just don't try to fake it. You can't do it, Obi-Wan.
Mm-mm.
But that's a good segue back into that actual episode, because we do see Maul suffer some loss in this episode as well, and him showing a surprising amount of compassion, I would say. I don't know if compassion's the right word, but sadness over the loss of his brother. Which is one of the things that makes this episode my favorite. I just love the character of Savage.
This was like one of the saddest deaths in all of the Clone Wars.
It breaks my heart. Yeah, the Satine and Savage in the same episode, and it's like it shocked me how sad I felt for Savage, because like you see all the Night Sister magic leak out of him. He goes back to who he was. Like, he's not the bulked up beast that Mother Talzin made him.
Yeah,
his horns shrink back down.
The Night Sister magic just completely leaves his body, and the last thing he said, like, leading up to the last thing he says, he was like, I failed you, I'm weak, I'm not a worthy apprentice to Maul. And then back when he's in his, like, original form, he says, what does he say?
I was never like you, or something like that.
Yeah, he says, like, I was never like you, brother. And oof.
Oh, that kills me. Because, like, the episode Monster where he is created, he's a good person. Like, he was turned evil by the Night Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And
not Maul, Obi-Wan says as much. Like, he says, I went to your village. I know this, this isn't you.
Or at least that you didn't have so much of a choice as you might have thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Savage, I would say, had no choice. He was turned dark side by magic. And it, like, breaks my heart that in his final moments, he's himself again.
Yeah.
But Maul still, it was like they saw talent in him, and they, like, sold him off to Palpatine, according to the Son of Dathomir comics. But, yeah, Maul's choices were taken from him as well. So Obi-Wan is still trying to, like, relate to him and be like, I know this isn't all your fault. You can chill out and be a better person, man.
Just chill out,
man.
Just
chill out. I don't know what your problem is, Maul.
Have some spice.
I cut you in half, but you didn't die.
Yeah.
Come on. Just relax.
I think Obi-Wan knowing that he cut Maul in half and he's still around, that's probably when he's like, you know what? I can't get mad about this because I respect Maul's hustle for this. And he just, at this point, he's just trying to relate to him and get through to him.
Well, yeah, speaking of his hustle, I think that their argument over about which is stronger, the dark side or the light side, and Obi-Wan's like, light side is stronger than you'll ever be. And I think that the dark side is strong in, like, the immediate, the way that Yoda says, it's the quick and easy path. It's quicker, easier, more seductive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always short-term gains that Maul gets. He keeps building up little empires, and then Palpatine comes and knocks him back down. He does it with the Shadow Collective. He does it with Crimson Dawn. We don't know how that ends yet, but Sam Witwer has said that Dave Filoni talked about Maul like he was Sisyphus, rolling the ball up the hill every day for it to just roll back down. And so, yeah, I think that Maul through the dark side can very quickly gain these empires, but they never last. Mm-hmm. Whereas something built by the light side will last. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, Maul realizes quickly that if he defeats this guy and takes the Darksaber, then he's ruler of Mandalore. So he's like, oh yeah, I'll just do that.
Mm-hmm. It relates back to stuff that George Lucas has said just in general about how he views life, the difference between pleasure and joy. And he says pleasure is the dark side, and it's usually driven by greed, where it's like, oh, I made a lot of money and that made me feel good, and now I want to feel that level of pleasure again, but it's not the same. And so you want to try to make more money and more money, whether it's greed or power or whatever you're seeking. It's never going to feel the same. But true joy, which is long-lasting, comes from helping other people and being selfless, and that's George Lucas's philosophy and basically what the Force boils down to. Yeah. Good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Great episode, lots of action, but still lots to talk about. It's like a perfect balance. Some arcs end, and it's all just fighting and cool visuals, but there isn't as much to talk about. And this one, I'm like, yeah, you nailed the balance.
A lot of meat on them bones.
We got a stew going. Well, that's it for this episode. Next time, we're going to get into the final arc of Season 5, the Wrong Jedi. I don't know what to call that arc, where Ahsoka is wrongly accused of the temple bombing. But until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.